Welcome back to more Imperium Cup. I'm CJ, your host here, and I'm playing in the second position. This is a self-analysis, kind of a self-commentary. My third game that I played, and I'm going to be playing the second position, playing against Invalid Name 94, who had managed a third place in his previous game, and Josh, or MartelBYM, who is playing in a fourth position, and Roma in the third position. So this was let me just say, very tight game, and ended up to, not so great for me, but that's okay. It's all about learning, and sometimes you make some mistakes, sometimes you do really well. And this one made a couple of mistakes, but not that many. These are my choices when my leader picks came around to me. I had Romber, I had Yuna, and Paul. Now, looking at this row, we have Long Reach, we have Shoutout Mapes, the kit, Dissecting Kit, very strong. We had the, what's that card called? Local Fence, and then Interstellar something. The one that lets you deploy guys to the conflict. My opening hand is pretty good. I do see my ring. It doesn't really matter. Nina's ring doesn't matter until about around 4 or 5. I do see my access card, and I have some okay paths to buying some decent cards here. So, unfortunately for me, there are not a lot of great graft cards out there. I don't like Chair Dog at all. And the other card, however, is pretty good. The ability to go to green spaces and kind of draw extra cards is very nice. It makes Mentat a lot more useful, and I do like hitting Mentat with Yuna. Yuna is not my first choice. I would have rather had basically anyone else, honestly. Paul, I could have probably chosen here, but the only reason I did not choose Paul, there isn't a lot of big cards. There aren't a lot of big cards in the row. The techs were combat focused with detonation devices, and they're kind of miserable, actually. Got the spaceport, and the other one was troop transports. So my goal was to just go shipping a lot, maybe hit troop transports. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit dicey here. We've got an Elesa in the first position. Second time I've seen Elesa played in my group, and a third position, Hundro. Not something you really like seeing when you're going to be shipping, is having a Hundro behind you, but there's not much I can do about that. And then we have Josh sitting in the fourth position with Ilban. Ilban is good, very, very strong in Ix. Gives you a huge leg up when you're just trying to power through your Spice Must flows, get those big buys, so that's what we do. So the first player, Invalid Name, decides to go Fold Space, which I think is wrong. I think you have to actually go shipping here, smuggling, to keep me from getting around to smuggling, which I will get here. And our Hundro players deciding while Josh has already decided where he's going. Probably going to see, I think this was a water. It could have been, oh, it's Hardy Warriors. Okay, so this has been a little bit in the future. I have not actually reviewed this game since I played it. It is going to be water. Water for Hundro makes a lot of sense. Throws a troop in and calls it a day. Meanwhile, Ilban, I'm just going to call them by their leader names instead of the player names, is for simplicity, goes to wealth. That is a thing that Ilban does, and it would have been probably a much more heads-up play on my part to, instead of going shipping, which is usually what you want to be doing with Yuna, but to go wealth right away. Of course, Josh could not let me get wealth and shipping. That would have been a problem. The Elesa reveal card, the one that they set aside at the beginning of this round, was the ring, and she goes to Carthag, but doesn't throw anybody in. I get to go to secrets. I pick up an ambush, which is quite nice. Really, really like that early on. I wish I had thrown a couple of guys in, but I have no way of doing that, of course, from the spaces I went to. And then a dagger to tech negotiation for Hundro. Now, Josh's play here is going to be for spice, which makes a lot of sense. Ilban definitely wants to be hitting those spice spaces as much as possible. The only thing he might have been thinking about getting the detonation devices, or just trying to like bide his time and wait on the spice. Ilband also doesn't mind going selective breeding early. Reveal for Elisa is going to show 3 persuasion and is going to clear the way for an ambassador to show up, or administrator, excuse me, the guild administrator. And unfortunately, I can't zoom in on the cards that I'm talking about right now because this is, of course, in the future and the game was played in the past. But I'm going to pick up probably. I have the ability to atomics the row, of course, but I decide not to, which I think is fine. I only have 3 persuasion. This is a very, very cheap combat for Josh, and I'm a little disappointed that no one else threw in here. Like, I would have expected Elisa to throw in with the Carthag play to keep Ilban in check, because you don't want Ilban to get some early combat points. So I think that was generally just a mistake, especially since they had, even though they had like priority, they could have, Josh had priority, he could have like played another, he could have thrown in other troops if he had a blue symbol. He did have a blue symbol, but he really wanted that spice and to trigger his experimentation. So I think in all said and done, he probably should have thrown a couple in. I also could have done that with my ring, but I wanted my experimentation. I definitely needed that. Need to get those things rolling. Need to get my extra points with the Thylaxu. Roma, of course, buys the Long Reach, which is just a great card to just reveal to get intrigues. Of course, you don't want to use it that way, but we might see him pick up another graft card later. And Josh picks up the local fence. So, sorry, Ilban picks up the local fence. Local fence is very, very good card early on. If you get a couple of spice, gets you your Swordmaster early. So a very nice and heads up play by Josh here. By Ilban. I'm going to go smuggle. We're going to go down. We're going to get our Swordmaster round 1. Round 2. I have a very good hand. I'll be able to get Swordmaster and then use my diplomacy to maybe hit up some water, because I am starved for water. Can be a problem. It can definitely be a problem. Now for Hundro, what does Hundro do here? Hundro's sitting on 3 water. So they can go get some spice right now, but there's nothing really attractive in the tech row. He's gonna go like do the intermediate thing and get just 3 spice, which I think is fine as well. You need your research. I'm gonna throw 1 troop in, and that kind of sets him up for a selective breeding, which I guess I don't mind. It's pretty early, so getting that done is good. I'm also hoping to. This is not a very good like combat for me. I would like to also pass on this combat. This is Sword Through the Chaos. Sword Through the Chaos is probably the most chaotic combat because people don't value it very well. I think it's fine if you are going into a round or a level 3. If it's the 6th combat, it's very good. And it can just be nice if you aren't going Swordmaster, you just decided you're not going to go Swordmaster, you're going to hit Mentat over and over again, then it's great. It's a terrible combat for Ilban. So, nevertheless, there's a Mentat from Ilban, and we've gone back around. I have gone my Swordmaster. Elisa played Seek to Fold Space and now has access to interstellar shipping. And Hundro plays his ring, and of course that's why he needed the spice after all. He's going to go to Carthag, pick up this intrigue here, and I would probably not throw in too many troops here. He's going to bump up. Yeah, I don't like really going in for this combat. I mean, it'd be okay, but it gives Ilban a little bit of a chance to claim it. Ilban's going to go to Wealth again, so another Mentat in the future, and interstellar shipping as expected from Elesa with a experimentation. So very well planned round by Elesa. Of course, they kind of knew, maybe they didn't know, but they guessed that I wasn't going to go to Fold Space and that no one else was really invested in that or interested in that, which made sense. But I do end up picking up my water, and I throw one in here. The reason being, I don't mind having a little bit extra Solari. I'm going to need Solari for my ring eventually, right? So I don't mind doing that. But I'm absolutely not playing this this ambush for this combat. That does not make a lot of sense. And it is unfortunate, although I knew that Roma had his second dagger. That Hundro had the dagger. Now, Josh has a bunch of options. Believe he could go into this combat if he really wanted to. Again, there's not a whole lot of things that are that exciting. He did redraw his deck due to being Ilban and drawing and going to Mentat, so he could have hit the local fence, but right now local fence not super great. Would have been bad to hit that, so he's probably going to go to get some spice here. That would make a lot of sense to me. The other option is, like, if you really wanted to buy high, he could go to tech negotiation if he had his other dagger. Has not trashed anything yet. So we'll see what he does here. My inclination is, I think he goes to get some spice. He's level 2 on Emperor, and he doesn't really have to move very fast on that track because no one seems that interested in it. And of course, early game, no one can get to the Conspire space anyway. Although Conspire is a very good space for me as Yuna. It's something I should consider in this game. And Ilban's just having a think here, taking a look at what might be coming up, what his next 5 cards are, which is something that you always need to be doing if you are getting into competitive play, is thinking about what your next hand is going to look like. Now, of course, like myself and Valid Name and Roma, we don't have the luxury of doing that because our hands, our decks are going to be shuffled together and we're going to get a random 5 cards. This is something that you could even consider doing in your games. He's going to tech negotiate. Oh no, he's going to get the Dreadnought here. So this was interesting. Dreadnought play to draw an extra card, trying to hit some persuasion. So that's why I was considering what was in his deck. So we'll see if he gets what he is looking for, or we're just going to see an atomics. Unfortunately for me, I only have 3 persuasion, so I'm not going to be in a good position to atomics myself. But maybe I'll get rewarded here. We're going to see Invalid Name, Elesa, that is. Have a think about what they're going to buy. And I'm still thinking. Looks like the subject X is the choice. That reveals a Carino Genes. I like Carino Genes as Yuna. That would get me up to 5 Solari, which would mean I'd be able to get my High Council next round, which is pretty good. I do like that. There are a couple things about that I don't really love. It puts me in a weird place. I don't have any graft cards. That card is amazing if I have some graft cards, but there aren't any. And apparently, and I have already spent my... Did I? Yeah, because I did buy that one infiltrator card. Or not infiltrator, but the one cost guy that lets you draw a card. So here is a weird choice. I pick up Shadow Mapes. And unfortunately, and this was just totally in Josh's favor here, totally in Elbon's favor. He finds a master, and that is a problem. Ended up picking up his local fence anyway. There's a Contaminator in the Tleilaxer row, which I would have preferred to Shadow Mapes. Contaminator's better, but I didn't have any specimens. So the Carinogenes goes to Ilbon. I pick up a Master Tactician here, and now I do think about whether I want to use one of these cards to take another Intrigue card. So, but I don't do it. I just take my 2 Solari and pass the round. A couple things went very wrong for everyone at this table right here. We weren't planning on hitting any good cards this purchase for that round. We all went for economy, high economy, but we don't really have a way of drawing extra cards like Ilbon does, and so we don't get the benefit of both doing economy and buying a good card. But this round for me, I have some good options. I have 2 access cards, one for Fremen, which I did like. I do really think Shadow Mapes isn't a terrible card. It gives you access to Fremen, which is nice, especially if you're a unit and you really need water. So I'll be able to get my water. I have my other diplomacy card, and I have my ring. So a couple of good options for me. I can't get to Interstellar, so I'd be able to smuggle. Except for that's of course blocked by Hundro, and you'd expect them to do this. I would 100% expect them to do this. There's a little bit of banter in here with Dinosaur 11, who is a friend of the channel, and there's a little ongoing joke about his ability to count swords in a game that happened in a ranked game, I believe. So Hundro is going to go ship, and that makes sense. They may have drawn into their ring, which means they'd be able to do a bunch of very, very mean things this round. They could go to Carthag, pay the spice, drop their shipping vehicle there, and also get this troop transports. They would have they don't have to sacrifice any spice. They could actually take the Solari as well because they do have a tech negotiator. So that's some nice forward planning from Hundro. I really like that play. Ilbon is going to use the Carinogenes to go get more money. This is starting to get a little out of control. In fact, the problem I see here, and what I remember from the game, is thinking that Ilbon is uncontested at Emperor, and that's not just a problem because of Emperor's points, but because money fuels Ilbon's Mentat, and that usually means one or two Spice Must flows over the course of the game, or some very, very high powered buys. In any case, they are a little low on spice and water, but they're biding their time. They do maybe have a path to win this combat if they Mentat and then draw into something good, and Hundro does not go into combat. I am sitting on a bunch of intrigues, which I love. These are great intrigues to have, especially if you really need to hit a point. Now, I don't remember what I do here. I don't know what I'm going to be doing here. This is an interesting choice. So I have lots of options. The thing I should probably do is go get more water. I could go into this combat, but it looks a little scary, honestly. If Hundro drew into his ring, there's not much. He already did that. He had ring last round, so it's a 1 in 11 to draw. So not well, 5 and 11. Not a great chance, but is definitely something I'm thinking about here. There is since I have all 3 of my agents, I could go get water. I could then hit up the Great Flat if Hundro does not go there, although that seems extremely unlikely. And so I'm a little bit caught between a rock and a hard place here. I feel like I'm behind, and this is a mistake. I'm behind in my water because I'm Yuna. So I go into this combat. I mean, I can win this combat, right? I can play my cards to get 2 more intrigues, which I think is what's going to happen here. Elisa also has another action, so she can throw in 3 more troops and go up to 12. How can I combat? How can I counter that? So I could also go to Arrakis, or Siege Tabor, which so I can put in a power of 10 and then just rely on my intrigues plus my 2 daggers from my cards in my hand. So this is not horrible, but I think it's a little bit. It's overextending. So I have no more troops in my garrison, and so going into combat with no more troops means that next turn I have to take a turn off. I have to rebuild. I don't have any spice to go to conspire, which is what I would ideally like to do. And look at that. Look, Hundro did not even bother going to the Great Flat because they know that I have no more water. So I think my better play here, honestly, was to go get water and force Hundro to go get that. If Hundro went there, then I could do something else. That would give me a little bit of an option to still go Hardy if I needed to. I don't think I was really worried about Ilban going to Hardy Warriors, but maybe that's what I was thinking about at the time, or Elisa going to Hardy Warriors. Okay, Subject X is going to go to Swordmaster for Elisa, which is a good one for her. Obviously, having your agents is good. And I cannot Mentat because the last combat was that Sword Through the Chaos, which everyone loves. Just messes everything up. It's a very, very well designed combat, but it's one of those ones you just wish you didn't forget about, if you're me. And see, here's where I made a mistake. I should not have done this, because I did it obviously in the wrong order. I should have done water first, waited, then gone Hardy. If I had gone Hardy second, that opens up some options for potential tech negotiation if I needed to, or water through Siege, or Great Flat, or Research Station would have been fine. Research Station, trying to hit a good card for like an Atomics play would have been nice. So I think this was a bit of a short-sighted play on my part, and I think it does come back to bite me. So here's the Chair Dog play with an experimentation. Now, of course, that's I like people like Chair Dog. I don't think it's that great. It gives your other card a different symbol. It gives it a blue. But when you're playing in experimentation, you obviously want to keep doing that. It's not too bad. And it actually plays pretty well here with what Hundro wants to be doing. I'm just going to take some spice and call it a day, it looks like. Not going to bother throwing anything in. There's no other players coming into this combat. Now Elisa just has to decide if they want to fight me. Which they can. They can definitely throw in 12, and then they'll lose. So that would only hurt us and help Ilban and Hundro. I like the pickup of other memory for Ilban. It doesn't have a green symbol. It's the only awkward thing, but it does draw cards, so it's great for Research Station and Arrakis. And I don't think he has any other Bene Gesserits, does he? No, he didn't. He didn't buy any other Bene Gesserits, so it's just a single Bene Gesserit card right now in his deck. He had like Local Fence and Master, so no other Bene Gesserits at the moment. I believe there's Corino Genes. Yeah, that's it. His deck's getting a little bit big, but he is Ilban, so he can kind of deal with that. Elisa is playing their fold space here. Now, a couple things that are concerning to me right now, that Hundra is already halfway up the Tleilaxu track. They're sitting on that very coveted space before the extra influence. And that is a pretty treacherous space if you're trying to erase that player to an alliance or simply overtake them in an alliance. It becomes very, very difficult to do that. And he's still just deciding what he wants to do here. I mean, a fold space to a fold space isn't bad. Intrigues also make a lot of sense. Doesn't have spice for selective, which I think he'd prefer. Or she'd prefer. And then on my turn here, what are we doing? We have a couple of odd problems. We're still sitting at 3 persuasion, which is not what I'd like to do. They decided not to go in the combat, so I don't have to worry about that, but I can't get another Solari anywhere. So I can't trigger my ring. If I had one more persuasion, I would have been in better shape here. Now I can go get spice for 2. That just seems miserly. I don't like it. Tech negotiation here is kind of a pass. It's not a very good play. I think I go Carthag here. Or I go Siege. I don't remember. One of the two. But I go Siege. Okay, this is okay. It's very possible I'll be able to get to that Great Flat then, because no one else is getting water this round, so that is good. So it is very early for me right now, but hopefully you all are well and enjoying this game. So I think there are some very good choices made throughout. The reveal for Fundro is 2 daggers and 4 persuasion. Not enough to really punt the row and hope to try hit another master. And wait, did we miss? Oh no, I see. Ilban went to High Council, so did he miss revealing? Oh no, he redrew already. He's already done. Yeah. Okay. I generally, we're not supposed to be doing that in the tournament, but none of us really care. This is in case you're wondering why Ilban has 5 more cards in hand. He redrew. 2, 4, 5, 6 persuasion for Elisa, and that's a power play for sure. And ooh, I like the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter is a nice card, especially if you can pair it graft it with things. 2 persuasion. I punt the row hoping to get in the shadows. Do I get one? No, of course not. And that's not great. Yeah, it's a bad row for me, and I'm not managing my persuasion very well this game. Pick up my intrigues. These are good intrigues. Water of Life and Favored Subject. So I feel pretty good at this point, honestly, even though we're all kind of sitting at 2 points. Hunter is a little behind on that, but he's lurking in a bunch of different factions. I'm feeling pretty good about my choices here, except for maybe that last play of going to Hardy first. Though maybe it did work out in my favor in that case. Did I get my bump? Yeah, Fremen. Getting the alliance with the Fremen. Now here's a point combat. This is a very good combat. And notice how Ilban immediately pounces. This is one that they want to win. And Elisa also probably wants to win, that they're stocked with troops. Hundro is a little out of position for this one, but could probably get there. Now my hand is full of pretty good cards, honestly. And because Arrakis was chosen by Ilban, I'll be able to go Mentat this round. Or I can get my High Council, which is probably what I should be doing. I sometimes misjudge these things, whether I should go High Council early or not, and I think it's always better to get your High Council as soon as possible, just so you don't have to worry about it later. You don't want to go and get your High Council round 5 or round 6 when you have other fighting to do. So that is something I'm still working on in my play. I think that would have been the better play. Although giving Ilban Mentat does feel bad. So yeah, play is on Elisa. Elisa deciding what they want to do. Whether they want to go Smuggle or Interstellar. Probably Interstellar. I don't know what the thought is, actually. If you're uncontested on shipping, so I guess they can do something else. Like go get some spice. They could hit Hardy Warriors if they have access. Hitting Hardy Warriors here would be pretty good. You're sitting on 3 intrigue cards, and Ilban has 0, so it's looking good. I'm just looking through my deck here, seeing what I've got. So my access to Fremen is good. My ring is in the pile, so if I redrew, I would get it either this round or next round. And I don't know if that's something I'm thinking about here. I don't remember what I was thinking at this moment, but Elisa is going to go to Hardy Warriors after all and fight for this, so that's a good choice. I think that's the right play. You can't just let Ilban run over these points. And I decide to Mentat. So I'm going to draw 2 cards here. This is what I was considering. Whoops. I actually messed up here and drew all 5 of my 5 more cards. Whoopsie-doo. There you go. I'm making sure that that's correct. I believe that when I was looking through my deck, I was trying to make sure which card was the card that was on top of my deck. So it was the experimentation and the reconnaissance, and that is correct. And of course you can go back and pause and look at this. That I think that was what I was looking for, and I accidentally randomly redrew it when I shuffled the deck. So, but everything in the discard pile should be correct. That was a little goof on my part. Just hitting the wrong button next to the draw card sometimes is a problem. And this was a mistake, a huge mistake, because I just gave Josh an intrigue card for no reason, and I should just played it. I gave him a point. This was a huge mistake, and I don't know why I didn't just play the card. And as soon as I passed my turn, because I should have just emptied my hand with that, I just didn't think about it. It slipped my mind. I was too busy thinking about the cards that I had drawn and how I messed up, and then I passed the turn in haste. So a little unfortunate there, and maybe a little bit of just pressure making me do things I would otherwise not do. I don't know. That was a big blunder. Big blunder. In fact, I think it might have been one of the turning points of this game, because giving, like, Ilban doesn't need to go to Emperor ever again, and then that's a problem. You don't have to force him. You have to force him to do these things and get the Swordmaster and get the intrigues. You need him, or not the intrigues, the half points. You need him to do that, not just give him free half points. So I'm a little disappointed in myself about that one. Now Hundro hits up selective breeding, and then Ilban go secrets. That's the secret play that stole my intrigue. So I'd say, like, up to this point I was playing pretty well, and that really a little tilted me a little. I don't know why I made that silly mistake, but we all do make silly mistakes at times. Interstellar Trade, is that what it's called? Interstellar Trade is the card played. It's deciding where he's going to send it to. So he's just going to get some spice. Yeah. See, I'm just looking at my deck there. That was the card that was missing. That was the top card of the deck, the Recon. Okay, just going to get some spice and draw a card. And I'm going to research here, because we got to go pick up this big bounty of 6 spice. This gives me the option of doing some very weird stuff, like highlining this round. Okay, now I'm a little bit paranoid, so I'm just playing cards. Though I think I needed to do that anyway. Could have been worse if I had given Ilban a combat card. Thylaxu Master is now catching Ilban up on the research track, and yep. It's a bit unfortunate. This is a pretty good start for Ilban. Pretty dang good start. And if you get a round 1 or round 2 master and your Ilban, you pretty much are in the driver's seat. There's not a whole lot else anyone else can do. You're a little bit of solo. You're just going to be drawing and redrawing that master over and over again, and eventually it's going to pay off. So that's how it works. On top of that, he manages to get another really bonkers card. So we're going to be in a little bit of trouble here, especially since he could also redraw that card with, as it's a Bene Gesserit, with the other memory. So good forward planning by Ilban there. So I'm going to throw in here with Highliner, and I don't think this is a good play. I don't like this at all, although I can take this down. Maybe. There's 4 intrigues in Elace's hand, which is a little concerning. I'm not going to lie. I figured I had 7 extra swords. Best they can have is 5 and maybe a 3, which would be 8. So that's bad. So if they had 2 combat cards and one of them exactly was Private Army, and the other one was like a tactician, or it could be 9 with a ambush. So there is a world where I lose this combat. I took this gamble. I don't know if this was worth expending my entire double daggers here too, which means I have to play. I'm a little bit disappointed at this choice looking back. I think that was wrong. In fact, just looking at it, I see an open smuggling. I also see, I mean, I could have fold spaced and just kept going. But now I'm out of spice, aren't I? So I don't like this at all. A little hasty on my part, and I think I do this sometimes where I just go like, all right, I've got stuff, now let's just use it. But you don't always have to do that. You can hold on to it. I think if red wins this combat, that's just fine for everybody. So it's me again, right? So I have another action as I mentatted, and I have my Swordmaster. And my choices here, I think I have a couple choices here. I think Tech Negotiation is the correct play. And hit this power play. I think that's the correct play. I think the wrong play is to go get more spice, now feeling I have buyer's remorse from hitting up that highliner. Although that puts me halfway to another highliner. So I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I could also go Carthag and draw another intrigue, but then I run the risk of not being able to play my cards. Although I am going to be playing these, at least one of these cards, so I guess it's okay. And maybe I'm thinking about that. How to restock my hand of intrigues. Trying to find some endgames. That looks like what I'm going to do. I don't like this play. I don't like this play. This hurts my long-term planning. So here's a card that would have rewarded my High Council choice in the last round. Unfortunately, I didn't go that route. Or in the last action, excuse me, 2 actions ago when I had gone to Mentat. Though going to Mentat was okay. I do think that this would have been better if I had gone to High Council, because then I would have also had 5 Persuasion. Although I would not have been able to, I probably wouldn't have thrown into combat then. So, I don't know. I do appreciate Josh making that Persuasion counter token a little bit bigger so we can all see it from far away. Can't put it there though because it's going to shuffle into his deck. Alright. So the power play goes to Hundro, and that's a little concerning to me. I feel like I just don't have any over the top ways of getting persuasion, or not persuasion, influence. There's my reveal. I do have the 2 extra persuasion, so I guess I could get the 5 anyway. Maybe that's what I was thinking. I would have been able to do that. So I did that really fast, but I picked up the Siege Reverend Mother and put it on top. I do have one Fremen, so maybe I was thinking like I'll redraw, hopefully redraw the Fremen. I have this Water of Life. The Water of Life gets me that Fremen for sure, but I have to get spice for that. So now, invalid name, Elisa is thinking about what to play. Because right now I'm winning. They have a blackmail. So this is going to be a combat, a very costly combat for both of us. And now I'm regretting my choice. Because this is 7. And I think I'm going to get outclassed here with a simple tactician. No, I'm not. Well, that's fortunate for me, and a very, very, very risky play. Very risky play. It is a point, though, so it's not the worst, but it could have gone very poorly. I don't draw the liaison, so I'm sitting on a pretty vanilla hand besides the Siege Reverend Mother. Now, I like the Siege Reverend Mother because it does cut cards. It's been a while since I've cut any cards. In fact, I haven't in this entire game, which is not great. So, sitting on second position here, I don't have access to more Solari, and there is a good path here. If this immediate play that Elisa does isn't exactly Haga Basin, then I have a shot of restocking, getting back in where I need to be, because I could potentially, there's a line to draw cards and find my liaison, which would help restock my Solari. And I'd have 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there a path to Swordmaster here? Or not Swordmaster, High Council? No, everything would have to go pretty stellarly for me. I think it would be smuggling to High Council. No one else is bothering with High Council right now. No one's close. Although, if red goes Interstellar, which is probably what they're going to do, well, then I would miss out on that this round. If they get this spice, they either give me the spice or they give me a buck, $2. $2 gets me High Council. So those are the options for them. Besides that, I mean, ideally, I would like to get some money to use my ring, but I don't have access to High Council. I mean, I don't have access to Fold Space this round to get Interstellar next round. So that's a little bit of a problem. There's also a potential play, and my only yellow access, and this is really the problem here. I only have 1 yellow access card, so I can't smuggle and get spice. So I guess I'm gonna have to go for Haga Basin here. And look at us, just so careless with our intrigues. This is secrets for Elisa, picking Roma's intrigue out. Hopefully it's a good one. That also, coincidentally, gets them the alliance, because they power played to do that. I don't know about that. I'm not 100% sure about that play. I guess it's okay. The 2 intrigues is okay, but you weren't really contested in that. No one was really fighting you there. It's nicer to hold the power play for when you really need it. I'm going to take this juicy spice. I cannot help myself. Could not let Hundro get it, for sure. But, as I mentioned last round, I threw everything into this combat. Red and I threw everything into this combat, the last combat. And we have no more troops to throw in this combat. So, looks like it's a point for yellow or blue. And the other option, I guess, be to just try to get Spice Mist Flow this round, which I could get. So other than the fact that Ilban is sitting on a master and probably hand again, or we'll draw into it this round because no one's going to Mentat. This 100 does not want to block Ilban, but you need to. I'd say other than that, it's a pretty even game. Okay, he's not going to block the Mentat, so I don't like this. You just can't let Ilban get another Mentat. It's like the 3rd one. He's just going to ship. Yeah, okay. I mean, his plan is to ship and then use his ring, probably. Lysa has troop transports, so they can always restock and go into this combat. So that's actually quite good for Lysa. I think Lysa has been playing this very well. It's going to be a Mentat for Ilban, and absolutely no one is surprised. Yep, just making sure they get their research bump here, and yellow's going to take it with the Spacing Guild, most likely. They will have decent access, prime access to Interstellar next round if I don't somehow get in there. Okay, no, this is actually, they chose to walk back their bump. They didn't take it and get the beetle bump anyway. The beetle bump instead, rather. Mentat for Ilban. It's going to be a Spice Must Flow for him this round. It's just good play from Josh, MartelBYM, playing very, very solidly here, getting rewarded a little bit for other players not blocking a key space, getting rewarded from the Imperium row. So things are going very well for him. Lysa is playing Dissecting Kit. No, they're not. I'm so sorry. They're playing their ring. But they're not sure whether they should Interstellar here, which I think they should. I don't know what else you'd be thinking about here. But, oh, okay. You're going to Carthag here. Okay, Carthag. More intrigues and more intrigues. I mean, why not? There's a long think here. And while we're watching somebody think, it's always good to remind you that you can become a Patreon subscriber on patreon.com/hiddenassets and help support us and our tournament coverage and our podcast, Spy Satellites, which I do, trying to do monthly right now. And more intrigues is exactly what we get, and one troop thrown into combat. Now they still have interstellar shipping, so they can troop transports throw 3 guys in, so it's a pretty good round for Lysa. It's on to me. Or she's deciding whether she wants to buy a fold space for $1. And she does do that. I don't see this ability used very much. And the reason is usually your Solari is very important. Now, I think this is a mistake. I don't know why I did this. I think I was looking to find my... Well, I was trying to find my liaison, which I didn't find. But I did find diplomacy, which gets me my High Council this round. And I think, wow, if only I was Ilban, then I could play Dagger to High Council and draw a card and draw my my liaison, if only. It's a bit disappointing. That's okay. 6 persuasion. It's not going to buy me anything good. So here's the free favored subject, which I cannot believe I gave to Ilban. Just think about that, how much that actually helped. It was 2 extra troops and a point because I just forgot to play it. So Interstellar, and no one is surprised at all. Though I wonder if Elisa is stocked back up on combat cards with those 7 in hand. She's obviously angling for something. Probably those combat cards. Sorry about the camera work. I'm moving it around a little too much. Flagship shows up. That's a nice one. Not really close to getting that, but I'm just very disappointed in my inability to draw my liaison, and I was thinking, how unlucky am I? I should be thinking, how greedy am I? Because that was very greedy. It was the top card of my deck, I believe, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But there's 3 cards left in deck, so I had a good chance, a good shot at missing. 50% chance to miss. So action is actually not on me, it's on Elisa, I believe. Just waiting on that. And then I guess my question is, this is one of those moments. Do I go for the High Council now? Okay, they're deciding to play this bribery. They've got so many cards in hand, they have to play them. So, must be nice. But they did end up throwing into this combat, and maybe they're thinking about taking it down. So here is, again, a mistake. And I really, really wanted to hit this liaison for some reason. And I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I do count correctly, thank God. I could have really, really botched this turn. I will get a Spice Must Flow, put me up to 5 points, staying pretty even with everyone. Now, that was a turn where I could have, it got me 2 points essentially, right? 1 for the friendship and 1 for the Spice Must Flow, but now I've got this useless Counselor's Dispensation in hand that I cannot use next round. And I'm not sitting on enough spice to go Highlander next round. So, there are trade-offs everywhere. My other option, of course, was to go to High Council and just abandon the Spice Must Flow this round and get a next round. So I could have gone High Council, played Counselor's Dispensation next round, go Highliner, hopefully win the combat. It's not a level 3 yet. Maybe that's what I was thinking, like it's not a level 3, so I didn't need to rush. Liet shows in the row and is immediately wiped. But now there's a Web of Power. Now Ilbon's thinking of whether I reveal right now. I don't think you do. That's always a little bit of a problem when Ilbon just decides to go to tech negotiation. You're like, well, they have enough for a Spice Must Flow, and they're just taking an action to use a ring to get a Solari so they can get Mentat next round. Of course, a good play, but it is a little annoying when you can see a player doing very well and you're not doing so well. Of course, I am a little ahead on points, but that is a little deceptive in Dune Imperium, especially when Ilbon is lurking into two faction tracks. There is that wonderful Tleilaxu Master again. And he gets to go one more time. He's deciding whether to take the bump. I think he takes the bump here. Yep. And Spacing Guild needs to catch up in spacing, so that makes sense. Or is it somewhere else? Spacing Guild is the only one that I think that makes sense for me, unless he really wants access to water. He wants access to water, okay. So he values Siege and buys Spice Mist Flow. Very well played by Josh this turn. It's on to Elisa, who reveals not much. Wait, whoa. Oh, did I buy my spice already? I did. Okay, so Elisa's going to try to win this combat, and I don't think... what happened? My mic died and I can't hear you all. Oh, Josh is having some mic problems. I remember this now. He kept getting kicked out of the Discord chat. Another point for Elisa on this combat. A very, very nail-biting close combat. Imagine that if Elbon had won that. They're already set up so well. So, at the moment, I feel like I'm doing okay. I'm sitting at 5 points. Elisa's at 6. Elbon's at 5, and Hundra's at 2. Although, one thing to note about Elbon, or Hundro is lurking in 2 faction spaces. So I'm going to steal this Mentat from Elbon again. I can't let that happen, but I inadvertently give up the High Council. And I think my job of blocking Elbon, it just sort of fell to me to do this, because I know that, of course, Josh is a very strong player, and Elbon wants to hit that space over and over again. He also doesn't have his Swordmaster yet. But he has Path the Swordmaster, of course, by Smuggle. So if the table really wanted to keep Elbon down, they could go Smuggle or Wealth. It looks like it's not even that. It's just simply point and point. It's going to draw a card from Elbon or Elisa's hand before deciding where this bump is going to go. This is just the game of forgetting that secrets exists, apparently. There we go. Having trouble putting the cards back in his hand. Everything is fine. Not so fine for Elisa. That was a pretty brutal round. And I believe that Elbon still has a faction bump to distribute somewhere. Unless he already did it and I missed it. No, he did not do it yet. A couple things. He has some decisions. One of them is whether he wants to race me on the Fremen and thinks he can steal my alliance, or if he wants to play it safe and go for a friendship with the Spacing Guild, and that's exactly what he does. He does remember, and I remember him saying that I had Shadow Mapes, so I had extra access to Fremen. I still don't have interstellar shipping, which is not great. Of course, only two players do. So, looking at my hand here, I think I was thinking a couple things. So the first thing is I really want to trigger my ring. I'm very close to doing so. The other thing is I really want High Council. I have this card in hand that triggers off High Council. I think I should have left my ring alone, and I think I should have gone for High Council. I think I choose to trigger the ring here. And I think that was the plan. 699, yeah, so I think that's what I do. But so it's a little hard to rewatch this, thinking that I High Council was just such a better play. It's 2 free spice ultimately, and there is an open wealth right now. So if I go wealth, I think I make the right play. If I go ring to smuggling, I make the wrong play. Okay, I do make the right play. That's nice. All right. Faith restored. I do make a play to wealth. I needed the point anyway. I'm at the 6 now. We need that friendship. And now this is a little bit concerning, isn't it? That yellow decides they want to go after me instead of like going for the spacing alliance or anything like that. I'm not winning. So one thing that players sometimes misevaluate is I'm at 6 points. Ilban is at 7. There is a pathway to what? Let's see. Taking that alliance for sure. The Spacing Guild. I don't think anyone else has any other great Spacing Guild cards that give free Spacing Guild bumps. So stealing an alliance is always great, right? It puts you closer to the pack, and obviously Roma needs to do that. So Mortani, Alejandro needs to do that. He needs to get some extra points. This combat is very well timed for this if he wins it. And so I feel a little weird in this situation. So I have a couple of options, but they're not great. So one of my options is to play Shadow Mapes to water. That would be ideal, I think. And I think I remember what happens here. I think I remember saying, "Oh, I wish Shadow Mapes was Jamis." Because if I was able to Shadow Mapes, then I could ring and seal that alliance off. And I don't think that's how it works on my part, unfortunately. Now we'll see. We'll see what happens here, what Ilban decides to do. Shipping is fine. Probably just needs water. So like this is what I should have been evaluating. Does Ilban need water? Does Ilesa need water? Ilesa doesn't need water. Does Ilban need water? Yes. Very much so. There is a flagship in the tech row. They have a tech negotiator. But they're going to go here, and they're going to give me a spice instead. Very grateful for that. They get to research. One step closer to the end of the track, I suppose. I wonder, I don't remember what Elisa does here. If I make it to Mentat, or not Mentat, excuse me. If I make it to Still Suits, I think I'm okay. But I don't remember what happens here. I thought it went poorly for me. I don't think that Alejandro has a graft card that goes there, that goes to the Still Suits. Because if he grafted and rang and used his ring, then he could double bump. But is there a way to get a double bump for him otherwise? I don't remember. He could be sitting on the Intrigue, the Fremen Intrigue. Though, if he was doing that, I figured he would have already played So yeah, I'm putting him not on the Fremen intrigue. That gives him an influence at this moment. And Elisa still deciding what they want to do. There aren't a lot of great options. Take spice, conspire. Those are things. Interstellar ship, just ship again. Like that's another option. Really in the tank here. I mean, he's got shipping. That's just a thing you do when you are uncontested with shipping. You just ship more. No? Okay, he's going to be Carthag or Arakeen. Arakeen gets him 1 extra Solari, which gets him the High Council. If he wants to go that route, but I don't know what he does here. Really agonizing over this play. I think Arakeen and then High Council if he has access. If he doesn't have access, Carthag is okay, but I mean gonna get more intrigue stolen. What? Can I take my turn back? If not, that's fine. Okay, so Ilbon wanted to walk back their turn. I want to go Arakeen. Now, I don't like... I think this is too late. Especially since I passed my turn and then didn't play an intrigue and said, oh, it's okay. But I let him do it. Blue did not lose the spice, though. There he goes. Okay. Spent the spice there. So he's going to go to Arakeen instead and draw a card with Arakeen. I don't know how all y'all feel about that, but it was a long think on Red's part, and then this happens. So I think in the long run, it's fine. However, he changed cards. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. It really disrupts a lot. Now Red has to recalculate. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. Whether we should have let him do it or not. I don't know if it really mattered in the long run, but it was maybe it did. Maybe it did. It did take a long time to go back. Wow. So Elisa is going for a Spice Must Flow instead. Gets rewarded by getting the Solari because Ilbon decided to choose the other space. And then he deals his discard pile to us. He does it again, I believe. Well, we're all pretty amiable here. I mean, this is we're all friends here. We're all playing, and no one's really being a real hard ass about anything. So it's totally fine. I think when people do some takebacks, as long as nothing is affected in the meanwhile. And this here is a huge blunder. Huge blunder. Huge, unbelievable blunder. I cannot believe I do this. I'm so annoyed So annoyed at this. So annoyed. Okay, so the wrong play, of course, is to play your ring. The right play is to play Shadowed Mapes to the open still suits. I must have been thinking about this, but then everything got rewound, and then maybe I get flustered and do the wrong thing. I don't know what's going on, but it should have been Shadowed Mapes to still suits. I'm such an such a bad player. Anyway. Maybe I won't get punished anyway. But that seems unlikely. Spice must flow 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's 7. It's not a spice must flow for Ilban. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's still 8. That's still 8. And yeah, so let's see what he's got here. What is the backup plan here? He has 8 persuasion. Ilban always thinking they have spice must flow. He's going to pick up this this web of power. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm just gonna purchase the beetle and call it good. Looks like. Everything checks out, I believe. But now everyone has to be worried, right? I mean, he's on 8 points. He's on 8 points, and he can solo the last 2 rounds by Spice Must Flows, and he's got a potential point in spacing if he manages that. So there's a lot going on here for Ilban, and everyone needs to be a little careful. That's why I thought it was very interesting that Hundro chose to go after me and my alliance. But it looks like I'm not going to get punished unless Elesa decides to block still suits for some reason. That is that would be very unfortunate. And again, this is a self-inflicted wound. If that happens, it's my fault for, I don't know, brain farting on it. No, it's not. It's not that. Then looks like it's going to be High Council. Of course, I don't get my High Council, and I still have not gotten my High Council because I chose to do it this way. I took 2 actions to protect an alliance. Yeah, so I don't get punished, but I should have. Do I need another water? Intrigue for Hundro. Just having that long reach has been such value. Just having that is such value. 5 intrigues. This game. It's crazy. Now I'm really regretting not getting that High Council, because then there's a path, or there could have been a path to that flagship. But alas. Web of Power is picked up by Hundro, and the guild ambassador is out there. I don't know why I'm throwing my things in the garbage. maybe a little disgusted at my play. Just like, get out of here, cards. Seven persuasion for Elesa is going to probably pick up this ambassador, I would imagine. There is a path if they wanted to go appropriate, they can ship down, throw 3 troops in, and maybe even take this combat. Maybe even take this combat. That means they'll be at 7 strength. Oh, it obviously depends on what they have in hand, but wow, that could be a big play. Appropriate coming out at the most inappropriate time. I think I like this play a lot, actually. I think I would have done the same thing. Interestingly, he doesn't take this, or she doesn't take the spice. I would have probably taken the spice at this point. What do you need the Solari for? Unless they're holding something that rewards lots of Solari, like a war chest, or maybe a sleeper must awake. Not a sleeper must awake, and a chome shares, something like that. Suddenly, this combat is a little bit contested and congested even. So I'm gonna reveal here. I think they don't have anything else to do. They're deciding where their bump is going, I guess. So probably Spacing Guild. Go Spacing and then you get 2 points. Because if you win this combat, that's 2 bumps. That's 2 points. That's put you up to 8. So I'd probably do that. I mean, I think we're all talking about it too at this point. What? Wait, what? I don't understand what Josh is doing here. He grabbed a Spice Must Flow out of the discard. Oh, right. I see. He trashed it to that, and then he went back because he took his turn back. Okay, I understand. That was also a little confusing at the time. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna put this back here, guys. I'm sorry, but yeah, he's being honest. He had not trashed it if he took the other path. So Arrakis. Still deciding. Oh, okay. Did take the Spacing Guild. I think that's the right play. So invalid name, 94. You know, making a name of himself a little bit, doing some good plays, and we're gonna be hopefully onto this combat real soon. I gotta get my reveal. Just gotta pass the round. There we go. Reveal, specimen, 3 persuasion. Is anything good? I'll take an Arrakis liaison, I guess. Yep. We need to buy Spice Must Flows, but again, I'd be better set up if I had actually used my ring to go to High Council, and though I probably would have lost this alliance, wouldn't I have? Well, actually, maybe not. There's a private army. So, okay. Or is that private army? What is it called? Oh, Allied Armada. Allied Armada for 7. Yellow's going to pass, looks like. They're considering it. I love when people hover over cards in their hand when they're considering a thing and then they say no. It's kind of a big power play when you count a bunch of points or count a bunch of swords in your hand and then don't actually have them. That's a fun thing to do. There's a little bit of calculus here on Yellow's part. Yellow really banked on winning this combat. Things are not going super well for them, but if they win this combat, they could claw back into it. So that's eight daggers, and looks like that's going to take it down as red passes immediately. No more combat cards in red's hand. That is a little unfortunate. All right, so my hand looks like a thing. Hoping to get to High Council this round, but we'll see. It's not a great hand if I want to draw cards. That's true, and I'm still not to level 2 on the Spacing Guild. Things could be going a little better. Ulesa puts down their hold card, and then Hundro has shipping open to him. And this is a big combat, so because I have Imperial Basin, I get the extra troop. I would really like to convert this one, so I don't have access to Spacing Guild, so that's a problem. No one has any spice, so if I can manage to draw my access card. So this is another reason why I should have been holding the Water of Life. I should have held it for a turn when I really needed to draw access. But unfortunately, I'd choose a different path. A couple of things I am thinking about here. Hundro really wants High Council, so I might lose it to that. There's a bunch of spice. There's 4 spice at Imperial Basin, which is pretty great. But that puts me at 6, 1 short of getting flagship, which is unfortunate. Now, if I had my High Council this round, as I keep harking back on, I still don't have it, I would be able to use Counselor's Dispensation and go get that, which would have been nice. So my options are fairly limited then. I have a Mentat that's not going to come back around to me 100%. It's going to go to Ilban. Again, Hundro not interested in the Mentat, but is instead going to take some spice. I don't hate this. Now that means that I could go to the Great Flat and get my spice to get my point, but that puts me to 7, and that's basically me done for the round. I don't think there's any other way for me to get back into this if that happens. I think I just basically kind of punt that, but I cannot let Ilban get it, right? So I think I have kind of, I mean, Ilban's going to Mentat, but if he doesn't Mentat, he's probably going to Great Flat. If he does Great Flat, then I can Mentat, or Ulesa can. I don't know. This hand is not great. Mentat, yeah. Gets his persuasion. Not persuasion, influence. Has to decide where he's going. Probably spacing. Spacing's open. He could try to lock out Emperor. He probably doesn't need Probably doesn't need to go Emperor, right? I imagine it's Spacing Guild. It could be Bene Gesserit. Bene Gesserit seems reasonable as well. In any case, that's what Ilbon's thinking about right now. If he's also thinking about getting his last Dreadnought because he is holding a Grand Conspiracy, that would be a problem because he's also got 2 Spicemas Flows, High Council. Yeah, so up down for Elasa. Now this, what? Oh, using appropriate. Cannot do that, actually. Whoa, cannot do that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Elasa does not have 2 factions bumps with the Emperor. Cannot do that. Do we let this happen? I guess we do. Big problem. That's a huge error. Elasa should not have that extra point. Wow, I didn't even notice that. I didn't notice it at the time. No one else caught it. No one else caught it. Wow. Huh. So that's a problem. I'm a little disappointed in that. Can't believe we didn't see that in time. Yeah, so appropriate requires you to have 2 bumps with 2 influence with the Emperor before you can use it. It's an ability. It doesn't just let you do it. So that's a big asterisk by this game. This is what happens when you play a game where you make some mistakes, but at least don't cheat. I'm just kidding. It invalid name. But yeah, there's he just clearly missed it. So I have my Spicemas Flow potentially, but now I'm in a weird spot. I can't do a whole lot of extra actions this round, right? I mean, my options are fairly limited. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have exactly 9. Again, no way to get High Council. I should have just gone High Council, but I did need to draw out of this horrible, horrible hand. If I went High Council and then Selective, that might have been better. I think I was hoping to hit some like access. Do have 2 actions left. So not Interstellar, excuse me. Selective breeding is still open to me. I'm still a little bit reeling about this appropriate play. I can't believe that nobody caught it. But that's the way it goes. Okay, anyway, Mondro is deciding if they want High Council. Possibly. I wish I had access to High Council. This is kind of the problem when you buy cards that have specialized access, is you get pigeonholed into taking specific plays as opposed to having a wide amount of options to your game plan. Like here, if I had I don't know, just some other card that had a lot more access, I would have been a lot more flexible in this turn, but as it stands, I don't really have a lot of flexibility. I don't really have a lot of options either. It's got to be selective breeding where I just reveal. Okay, so I was pretty happy here when Hundro did not selective breed. This gets him a point though, puts him up to 5, and I'm starting to fall behind as others are getting points. And I'm not able to compete really in this combat. This combat is not going to go for 2 troops. There's no way. Yeah, it's a little weird. I think if it ends here, it's because Ilban has some big combat. He still has options though. Hardy Warriors is open. That's another thing I was a little surprised about. Hundro maybe didn't have access to Hardy Warriors, but it would have been a great. Would have preferred if he'd Hardy Warriors here, I think. And he's just double checking everything, I guess. Yep, okay. Getting his research bumps. Takes the spice, and he's going to go up somewhere. Spacing Guild, or did he already do that? Yeah, Spacing Guild. And then he's going to take the second bump, so there's a point for him. It's nice. That means he is favored to take down this combat now if he has access. But I don't know what he has. I don't think he bought another access card. Oh, was there a power play? There might have been a power play. I think there were 2 power plays picked up this game. Anywho, on to Ilban. Pretty soon. Yeah, sorry about that big delay, but there you go. It's going to be an Arrakis play. He's looking for a card. Looking for a card. Probably Tylaxian Master. I think you just throw in here because this is probably last round, right? Elisa reveals the fold space, and we're finally onto her turn. I think she's very relieved. Now she could challenge here at the Spacing Guild, but there's no guarantees that that's going to work. Hardy Warriors is open, but you get 2 in. Does that get you anything? Lots and lots of things to think about here. I mean, this is all pretty important. We're all kind of close together right now on the standings, so a win is pretty massive. Okay, it's going to take some money. I don't know how I feel about this. It's a point, I guess. I do get my selective. I unfortunately have to use the card that would give me 3 persuasion, so I have to hit pretty well here. I do. So I'm back up to 9. I get to trash a card, but I don't want to. Oh, I trashed my Spiceman's Flow, excuse me. It doesn't go out of play. It goes into the reserve, so apologies for that. That was That is not correct. It should not be over there. I think I fixed that in a second. On to Hundro. Hundro is probably going to highliner. So I'm just looking at the intrigues, what we've seen. I was looking at what are the potential intrigues to get him where he wants to go. So he wants a point with Emperor. That seems hard to do. I mean, he could do that, but he'd give up this 2 points. I think he's got to go for these 2 points. So if he has highliner access, he has to go highliner access. There's no other way around it. I don't know if he has highliner access, he just goes for it, right? He doesn't have it. No, he doesn't have it. Wow. Wow, and not Hardy Warriors. That is surprising. That is surprising. I don't know how I feel about that. So he gets this bump. He's getting his point there. If you want Hardy Warriors, couldn't you just do that? That doesn't get him another point, but I guess the intrigue he values more. And what did he trash? I missed it. He must have trashed something. Bene Gesserit. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see what he trashed. Was it the convincing? Okay, water for Ilbon. This probably means that it's going another round. And then Hardy Warriors for Ilesa. Okay. Alright. I mean, Ilesa is sitting now at 8 points, so obviously if they win this, that's the game. They put in 4 troops instead of 3. It only gives 3. It's another mistake. We do correct this one. But a little bit of hasty play here. Yeah, you always got to watch what your opponents do. We do, I think, mention that there should only be 4 in, right? Or no, there are 5 in. No, that's correct. That's correct. I'm wrong. Ignore me. They did put 3 in from flagship that they shouldn't have. So. So we give up the ghost here a little bit. We're going to be just buying a Spice Must Flow. Hoping this goes another round. More points from Hundro. Hundro is just rolling now. I'm falling a little bit behind. We're hoping that Hundro can take this combat down or else the game's over. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For invalid name. No Spice Must Flow this round. Okay, let's reveal, and we get a Spice Must Flow, a point from that. So we're back up to 8. I think ultimately we're playing okay. I mean, there have been a couple mistakes here or there. One we didn't get punished for. Okay, and then we have to hope that this is not the end of the game, and I believe it is not, because they tie. And this is ultimately the best result for everyone. I mean me. Okay. And because of that, I don't get anything for my third place. Or fourth place. I wouldn't get anything anyway, never mind. Yeah, so Josh gets three spice. Everyone else gets 5 except me. So I'm a little behind in that regard. But if you look at Ilbon's like setup, they're 2 spaces away from the extra Tleilaxu point and sitting 2 spaces away on the research board. So if they just simply reveal Tleilaxu Master and they have 7 Solari, they'll be able to pay for the 2 extra beetles. So that's a really good play there from Josh. He's really got that planned out. Keeping in mind, of course, that there should not be flagship in Red's possession. Anyway. So it is on to Ilbon. Ilbon doesn't want to spend any Solari. They probably just want to collect spice. Draw cards. Research station looks very appealing. I can't see how it's anything but research station. But yep, anyway. Just waiting for Ilbon to decide. Sorry about the silence, y'all. I know usually there's some chatter in the background or something like that, some clicks or bleeps from the game board, but I have those muted at the moment. He is gonna just Mentat. All right, Elesa's turn. Elesa, what are they looking to do? I mean, Highliner is an option, but there's no infiltration. We haven't seen any infiltration cards. We actually haven't seen any dispatch and envoys. And if I were red, I'd be a little concerned about yellow just immediately highlinering. So up, down. Probably should be chasing on the Emperor. Or putting a little distance between themselves on the Bene Gesserit. He is going to chase on the Emperor. I like this play. It might not play off. The big thing is that you threaten some serious consequences for blue. Now onto my hand. I would have liked to hit Mentat, of course, but I didn't because Ilbon. However, I have my ring. I could ship down. I need my point with the Spacing Guild. So lots of things that I need to do. I'm probably not going to get Highliner this round. There's one person ahead of me. If I go get Spice, I'd have enough. But then I could potentially get locked out of Spacing Guild. So there's a lot of things to worry about here. I can get Spice, and then if I get to Fold Space, I could also potentially tech negotiate to get Spaceport and hit my last Spice Mist Flow. I'm going to use the ring. Okay, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do the ring, get money. Oh, and I also forgot to get my 2 extra bucks from the space. I'm going to go up here, get a troop, get a spice, and I believe I get that pointed out that I'm missing 2 Solari. Because I didn't click the button. And I went too fast. Such is life. Oh well. I don't know if the Solari would have mattered. There's not a whole lot else you can spend it on, and even if I wanted to spend it, I could spend it on Dreadnought. Could be a tiebreaker though. Okay, now if Hundro doesn't immediately snap off this Highliner, I'd be really suspicious of them. They don't have a lot of options. They need a point with the Emperor, which is conflicting with Red's chance of taking this alliance away. So those are the options. That's what's most likely right now. And how does my turn pan out? I have really bad persuasion. So, I mean, like using this Tleilaxu, can't remember what he's called, the guy in very left on my hand, to tech negotiation isn't terrible. Probably guarantees me Spice Mist Flow. Okay, so he is going to go Highliner. He's just hemming and hawing about whether he really wants to. I mean, you do want to. I'm not sure I understand. What the qualms here are. If he has double access, then he's just deciding whether. So if he doesn't have access, sorry, if he has another access card, then should probably go selective first. Yeah, probably should go selective first. But if he does not, then we'll see. Honestly, don't remember how this played out. I mean, I remember how my turn played out, but I don't remember what they did. I think, if I remember correctly, I think yellow does win this combat. But just taking them a while to decide in what order they want to win the combat. Maybe they're thinking, if I draw into my access card, then I could do both the things. Okay, it's going to be selective breeding, ultimately. But they must trash a card to draw. Do they trash the diplomacy? They do. Draw 2. Seems good. Oh, that can't feel good if you're yellow. Seeing a fold space go right there. But that does signal a couple of things. That signals a grand conspiracy, doesn't it? That I needed to block Dreadnought. And no one else is seeing this, I think. That's a grand conspiracy. 2 points from grand conspiracy would be massive. He needs one more Dreadnought to do it. The Dreadnought card is out. That's what I was looking for. The one that gives you a free Dreadnought for, or a Dreadnought for 3 Solari. So I know the Tleilaxu Master's in hand. I know that he's going to reveal for Spice Must Flow. So he's got 2 points at least. If he gets Grand Conspiracy, it's 2 more. That's 13. At this point, I'm like, well, red flag. I'm not sure if I can do anything to stop him from winning. It is red's turn anyway. It's not my turn, but that was a huge problem at the moment. I'm like, well, yeah, Grand Conspiracy makes a lot of sense. He also might just get the Spacing Alliance anyway, but there was no other option. That was the only one. And this is another reason why me going to smuggling was a mistake. Like if I blocked fold space, which was one of my other options with Guild Administrator, I keep this from happening. So ultimately, I think my greed of going to smuggling was what undid me here. I would have had a point. I could have taken another bump, and I could have gone to Bene Gesserit with that bump, and I could have gotten another intrigue, which may have mattered. It might. All right, red's going to ring to Carthag, and they're going to throw in some more troops with a flagship they should not have. Tech negotiation, got to do the things. So we're going to draw 3 cards. All right, well, we get Spice Must Flow, that's for sure. That's for sure. Definitely could throw into this combat. Like, I guess I don't think I need 1 water to like actually have a decent combat strength here. But the other option was to simply block Dreadnought. But I think that's a little too late. Hundro also could have blocked this, but they decided not to. I'm just going to draw a card and then go up twice. Protect the spacing, get a point. Actually could take a point, take a point, take a point. So yeah, they can get a point with Emperor and get the alliance from red for Bene Gesserit, which looks like that's what they're going to do. I mean, the heads up play is to instead do that to go to Dreadnought to block a point from Ilban. But again, this wasn't the cleanest game. Though I think, you know, everyone's playing pretty well. What? No, 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 no. Whoa, no, 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 no. Okay, so they're going to defend and take this alliance, but instead of taking a point with the Emperor. I guess if they have access there, they have access there. It's the same thing. But I don't think Ilban has any way to get there. Quid pro quo could be a way to do that, if they had quid pro quo. But I don't think they do. I think they're sitting on points. They've been holding those cards for a while. So, last couple actions of the game, most likely. Unless somebody steals an alliance from blue. Yep, I'm pointing that out. That was a grand conspiracy play. Here's the other dreadnought. And everyone sort of now realizes it, but that is what it is. I mean, it was a really sus play anyway, going to level 4 of Spacing Guild with like no spice access to Highliner. So everyone should have been thinking about it. What? I think Red's thinking about using an infiltrate, but they haven't yet played it. Okay, there's the infiltrate. You still have to play the card. But yeah, anyway, everyone's in their own head. If Red wins this combat, we go to another round. No, we don't. It's going to be Spice Mist Flow for Ilban. Still have to play the intrigue. Okay, Red doesn't play their intrigue for some reason, though they showed it to us. So they showed it to us. There's an infiltrate in hand, but did not play their infiltrate. Okay, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything, but it's a little bit sloppy. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I could play something. What is probably... It's going to be Spice. Spice is probably the most important thing for tiebreakers. I don't see any other play, so it's going to be Spice to Imperial. Call it a day. I can get water, but Spice gets me. I mean, I don't think I'm going to break any ties here, unfortunately. I'm just thinking, like, what is Red holding? They're at 7 points. They've got to be holding some pretty amazing stuff. Plans within plans is 2 points. I think it's just Spice, but I might decide to go to Siege Tabor for some reason, hoping to get like second place in this conflict, which I won't. Has been a bit of a long game, so I appreciate you all watching and hanging out with us. The takeaways from this game, there are a couple of them. And I don't play Una very much, but I think my ordering of actions with Una was a little off, even though I think did okay. And in most games, I think I probably, like, this game could have ended last round, right? Could have ended last round. If yellow won the combat, they'd probably win this round because they'd be up 2 points. But maybe not. Maybe they just get second place. So I'm just going to take Spice. And research, which isn't going to matter. Except for tiebreakers. Throw a troop in for just cuz. And then we're going to see a highliner from yellow, probably. Ultimately, yellow did decide to walk back their spacing guild bump, I believe, after deliberation. I think we might have talked about it. We might have been talking about it over the table, saying, like, you should probably, like, get the points there and there, and then, like, if you got highliner access, you'll be able to get that defense anyway. It's not going to be that big of a deal. No one else has any access. There are 2 infiltrates in the deck, and one is just shown by red, so there's only one more. Okay, Web of Power. It's going to seal this alliance off. And draw them a card, get them a water. And, yep, Solari. Yep. 2 Solari. So now, if they are also sitting at on a war chest or the other one, that's exactly like war chest. They could have points in hand, so that's bad. I'm not beating them on Spice tiebreakers because I'm at 2 Spice and they're at 9, so I'm looking at I'm hoping a 3rd place, but yeah, so here's the 2 points I meant. So 2 points from Spice Must Flow and Tleilaxu Master. So Tleilaxu Master buying, like, has gotten him like 2 points, maybe 3 points. And then we know he's got Grand Vision, so that's 13 points. And then he might even have even more in hand. Playing that so it doesn't get stolen, I guess. Okay, reveal for Elisa. She gets her beetle. Doesn't get her a whole lot here, but it's a beetle. It might have a beetle endgame in hand. Spice Must Flow for me. Put it on top of the deck? Nah. And just a reveal for Hundro, and then we can put this game to bed. Elisa winning this combat is unfortunate for me, of course, because that means I'm going to end up probably 4th place if they have any endgames in hand, and it looks like they have plans within plans. That puts them ahead of me. Of course, keeping in mind they should not have flagship, which would probably have contributed to, which did contribute to this combat and the previous one. Shuffle your deck, or discard into your deck and draw. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a Spice Must Flow for him. Well done, well done. Okay, Grand Conspiracy has been revealed. And there is 2 points. And the combat puts him up to 11.
Second? Yeah. I get second? Is that how that works out?
Pretty sure.
Nope.
What you got?
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
This is dumb.
Jesus Christ, you guys drew every endgame and I got
kidding?
none of them. Okay.
I'll take third, I guess. Jesus Christ.
That was a little bit better.
At least this isn't corner, CJ.
They've had so many intrigues that I would have loved corner. Right? I would have loved any intrigues, but I couldn't get any. I had a decent intrigues. I was a little bit sad
still can't
about
believe
this.
Yeah, no, my intrigues really pulled me over the end.
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
As much as I cared about like long reach, like that was my only long reach combo this entire game.
Wait, did you guys tie for? We tied.
Yeah, we tied.
So
I got my Solari already.
Did you get your intrigue?
Yeah.
Or you did?
Yeah.
CJ should have gotten the first one, but that's what.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, what's that?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, you didn't have the stuff for it. That's so sick.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to be 3 points here. So.
Damn, dude, third again. It's just, that's crazy. Well played, everybody. I'm a little bit bitter, but that's okay. That's just how the game works sometimes.
You didn't end up fourth, so
yeah. I can't believe I pulled it over. I mean, those intrigues were really unfortunate.
Do you guys have the ID?
I can pull it up right now.
And that's going to do it for us. I just want to shout out to everyone. Played really well this game. I definitely had some miserable plays and should have been managing my spice a little bit better. But yeah, it was a little bit sad to not get the intrigues at the end. To get any intrigues, they had so many endgame intrigues. But 14 points for MartelBYM, and that was pretty massive. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.